How we doing today? Got another story for you. This one's a little strange because I'm talking about a band in this one that most people won't have a clue who they are. Talking about Lord Tracy. If nobody has an idea who Lord Tracy is, just look them up on YouTube. They were a real good band back in the late 80s, early 90s. They kind of felt local. I don't think they were out of Memphis, but they played in Memphis a lot, so they kind of felt like a local band there. But they were real good. They only released that, I know that first album they released, man, it was really good. It was kind of crazy, but it was good. Had a great, really good guitar player, a real good bass player, and drummer. And I even remember the drummer's name, Chris Craig, and I can't remember the guitar player, bass player. I don't even remember the singer's name, but they had some songs, Going Out with the Boys and Foolish Love. Their song Foolish Love, I've sang it to Lori at some of the Valentine's things that we've had when we were going to Black Zion. So, it was kind of anyway. Lord Tracy was a pretty cool band at the time. This was in 1990. I'm trying to remember what the month was. I just looked a while ago and I can't remember what the month was, but it was in 1990. And I want to say it was December of 90, like December the 7th or something like that. Anyway, we decided we wanted to go see them. They were playing at the New Daisy Theater in Memphis. It was pretty much at their height, was playing the New Daisy. And so anyway, Ron Dozier, a friend of mine that's dead and gone now, he wanted to go. And a friend of mine, her name was JJ, and I'm going to leave it at that. And she went, and we were in my little Toyota Corolla, 1980 Toyota Corolla station wagon. It made a bunch of trips to Memphis. But anyway, and Ron's girlfriend, Samantha Stansel, she went too. So it was me and Ron, Samantha, and JJ. And we rode up there, and now there was another girl that I had met in Memphis at the time, said she wanted to meet us at the show. So we did see her. I can't remember what her name was. I did know what her name was, but anyway, I think she was there. We saw her. So, we knew 2 or 3 people that were there. Anyway, we go and see them, and I'm talking about Lord Tracy puts on one heck of a show, man. I mean, they rocked it. They were always good. I saw them at Stage Stop. I don't know, probably once I know I saw them one time, maybe not a couple of times. Matter of fact, when we saw them at Stage Stop, me and Ron was at Stage Stop up there one time, and this was before 1990, so it's going to be early 90 or 89. And we were sitting around in there, and the singer, man, he just comes over. The singer comes over and sits down with me and Ron, just starts talking. We sitting there talking. He was talking about how they just flew in from, it was after the show, after they got through playing. I mean, they were really good. And he was over there talking about what the temperature was, and they got off the plane in Dallas, and then what it was there. And, he was just a real cool guy. I mean, he was just there talking to us, and he's a cool guy. And the band that opened for him when we saw him at the New Daisy, we've seen them at Stage Stop as well. Matter of fact, the singer come over one time while he was singing. When we saw him at the Stage Stop, he walked by there and stuck the microphone in my mouth, and I started singing. And I had this tendency, I could, I don't know if I could do it as much now as I used to. I used to sing cover tunes so much in bands that I would copy. I was pretty good at copying the singer. And I'd been sitting there listening to him sing, and I copied him when he stuck the microphone up there. And he jumped back and kind of looked at me because it sounded like him singing, But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Back to the New Daisy. So me, Ron, Samantha, and JJ. Here we go. And I forgot. Bonnie Wilson was there. I forgot about Bonnie being there. As a matter of fact, it seemed like she got mad at me there for some reason. I can't remember what the deal was. But anyway, I remember Bonnie was there. And Lord rest her soul, she got killed in a car wreck back several years ago. And anyway, great show, great concert. It was all good. Now, the thing I want to talk about was our ride home, which ended up being very, very strange. Now, for those of you that knew Ron Dozier, Ron, well, I'm just going to be honest with you. Ron was a womanizing son of a gun. I'm not going to lie about it. I mean, he's dead and gone now, but he, he was, he was, with the, he really, and he was super, super jealous of Samantha. I'm talking about, he was very, very jealous of her. And I don't know what he had been drinking that night or whatever. He had been drinking something there, I'm sure, because he always did. Man, that dude would take 5 mini-thins and drink beer. And just at a time, 5 mini-thins at a time. And he would do that all night. He's liable to do it 3 or 4 times in a night's time. I was just like, man, how are you doing that? But anyway, on our way home, Ron and Samantha was sitting in the back. Me and JJ was sitting in the front. And we were just, cruising along, talking and everything. I start hearing Ron kind of getting loud in the back seat. And I'm like, me and JJ kind of looked at each other. What in the world is wrong with him? Anyway, I'm talking about, he started getting, I saw him so mad one night, he punched Scott Davis in the mouth and swelled his hand up. But it wasn't as mad as he was that night in the car. And I'm talking about, he was throwing a fit. And I didn't know really what the problem was. He was trying to get Sam to tell him something. At the time, I had no idea of what the problem was. I'm talking about, he was throwing a fit. He was throwing a fit so bad that I had to pull over on the 4-lane on Highway 78 between here and Memphis, get him out of the car and talk to him and calm him down. I was like, man, what in the world is wrong with you? He was just going off. And I was like, you're messing up a great night that we've had, But I mean, he was freak. I never saw him do that before. I never saw him do it again. I never did. But he was, I'm talking about, that's just the way he was that night. And I talked him down. And he never really explained. It was something to do with, he thought, he was jealous about something to do with Sam. He got jealous, something about Sam. He was jealous about it. And, I remember he was so jealous about her. See, she was a hairstylist. And I got her, I was like, well, you cut hair, you want to trim my hair or whatever. She trimmed my hair or done something to it. I don't remember. Or colored it. May have colored it or something. I can't remember. Anyway, she done my hair one time. And, man, I had to go to her house to get it done. She didn't live far from me. She only lived about 3 or 4 miles from me. And I went to her house that day and she done my hair. And he called while I was there. It was worrying him to death. I don't know why he was so jealous of me. He knew me as well at that time as anybody. He knew I wouldn't like that. So I don't know why he was. unless he would. And you know what? I've discovered this. I've seen this, and I've discovered this. People that fool around on their spouse or on their girlfriend or boyfriend are always usually the most jealous of their boyfriend or girlfriend because they know what can happen. Anyway, we got back home and I dropped JJ off, and everything was fine. And Sam calls me the next day and she's apologizing for the way he acted. And it was something to do with, he was jealous. And I think it was something to do with me then. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure about that. But man, he was going off. And some of you guys out there, all you guys that know Ron, if y'all had an episode with him like that, message me and tell me. You ain't got to comment because they ain't really, but you can message me and let me know. I mean, what I didn't understand it. It was pretty wild. I'd never seen him like that before. Anyway, come to find out, which and I think this bothered him too, come to find out, me and Sam went to school together. And I didn't even realize it. We went to Fulton together at IAHS. And I didn't even realize at this time. We weren't friends or anything in school. And so, I didn't even realize it. But anyway, that was my story about Lord Tracy, man. If you get a chance to check them out, that early album, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And man, if you don't do anything, listen to it for the drummer, the bass player, and the guitar player. Now, the singer's great too, man. He put on a great show. But man, these guys were talented musicians, really. They should have got to go farther than they did. I don't know why they didn't. But anyway, I had to tell that little thing about Ron because I got stories I could probably just tell about him on here. I'm gonna watch what I say because his son, and and some other people, may watch it. But he was a trip. He was a trip. That night, he was really a trip. I mean, he was really a trip that night. This has been the Steering Wheel Commentator. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button.